Welcome to Downshift, my name is Matt. This is one of the best-selling cars of last year, and while sure, maybe a third of those sales were to fleet vehicles and rental car places, if you're thinking about this thing as just a rental car, you're kind of not giving it really a fair shake. I've been pretty impressed with this thing. There's a lot to talk about, so we're going to talk about the coolest features here on the Nissan Altima. The first thing is that there are two SR trims, but only one of them gets the VC turbo here. This is Nissan's updated 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, and it makes 248 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. That is good for 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds. But you know how I just said that there's two SR trims and only one gets the VC turbo? Well, the VC turbo only comes as front-wheel drive, whereas other Nissan trims and the other SR trim can be had with all-wheel drive. Weird. Bigger engine, only front wheel drive. Why? And then, if you look carefully, there are V's everywhere. You can see in the running light, that's a V. The grille kind of makes a V. And not just the running light, but within this housing, you see that V, and then another V, it's like a chevron pattern almost. And then your taillights, who'd have guessed? V's. And your SR trim only comes with black interior. It's pretty nice, it's a synthetic leather. You've got this nice perforation all the way down. It's got orange inlays, and you have orange and white stitching. But it's black interior with that the only way, which is a fashion faux pas with this red exterior paint, or at least that's what my teachers would tell me in 3rd grade when I showed up in orange cargo pants and a red long sleeve tee. But what do they know about fashion? And then we have to talk about blind spot monitoring. It's not on the mirror like everything else. It's here, like it is in an Audi. I'm gonna start it up. See that there? And then while we're talking about it, we might as well talk about the world's loudest blinker. What a heinous sound. And then there's the wheels themselves. This is a unique trim-specific 19-inch wheel, and they're pretty cool. They've got this interesting design that doesn't really connect, but it has a nice kind of personality to it, and it's very obviously specific to the SR trim. It's embossed into the wheel itself. Wild. And then from the profile, you can see this is the exact same length as a Toyota Camry, but there's some weird stuff going on. For one, you only have chrome window treatments on the lower portion of the door, and then two, you have this weird floating roof design that you see in a bunch of Lexuses and the bigger brother, Maxima. And of course, the SR trim gets black wing mirrors for sportiness. And like I said, the seats are quite nice, but you don't have any memory seat options on here. This is the most expensive Altima that you can get. You just can't get memory seats. This Altima and the Kia K5 are the only competitors in this segment to not offer a hybrid, but look what I've been getting this week. It's mostly highway, but it's still probably 30% city. That's impressive for not even being a hybrid. And here's a bit of a nitpick, but this is the key. This is exactly the same key that I had for my 2011 Infiniti G37. Some things never change. And then there's the trunk, which is huge. It's super deep. You've got these little toggles here so you can pull and release the seats 60, 40, and it's got a nice rectangular opening to get stuff in. And if you lift this up, I can't because all my stuff's in the way, you have a temporary spare, which you can't find in a lot of stuff these days. Now, like I said, the SR is the sporty version, and we have the big VC turbo engine, and most sports cars have a bunch of extra cooling and intaking that they need to cool the engine as it's making all its power. But here, alas, they are fake. They are not real intakes, they are not functional aero. They're just for style. And then the taillights, they're just incandescent. This is almost $37,000 as tested. Incandescent, come on. But then below you have symmetrical dual exhaust, a little mesh pattern, and an aggressive rear diffuser. I mean, this is genuine sports car looking stuff. And we're back to the seats. This is Nissan's zero gravity NASA inspired seat design. I mean, it's comfy, but I don't know about all that. But anyway, this is heated with 2 levels, as you can see right here, but it is not cooled and it is not memory. And yeah, it's comfy, but seems like it could have at least memory. You do have a heated steering wheel though. Nice. Of all 4 windows, only the driver is auto up down. Lame. But for this top trim, you do have the upgraded 12.3-inch center infotainment system, and it's very, very good. Now, the native Nissan system is kind of slow and not perfect, but you get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard for this trim. If you go down to the base Nissan Altima, you won't get CarPlay at all, and then from there you get wired CarPlay. And then there's things like the 360 cameras, which look okay from here, but in actuality they look like what Mazda's reversing cameras looked like about 5 years ago, and why don't they take up the full screen? Here's a closer view of But here's the steering wheel. It's super aggressive with orange interior stitching, flat bottom, very sporty. And of course you've got paddles here because, you know, that's what you need in your CVT sports sedan. And there's no drive modes that you can see here, but this button is a secret sport button for your transmission. I did not use it at all this week because it doesn't really do anything. And then across your dash you have faux carbon fiber. It's okay. One of my favorite things though is the physical climate controls that you have here. Super easy, make a lot of sense, love it. Kind of annoying though, there's no ambient light in here. These light up as red, and then of course you get map lights, but even these don't really look like LEDs. Just looks kind of cheap. But this is one of my favorite buttons. This controls your adaptive cruise and your active lane keep. It's overall a pretty good system. I did several hours on the highway and it really only tried to kill me like once or twice, but if you're paying attention at all, you'll be totally safe. But then we'll talk about the back seat. As you can see, I'm 6'1". I still have several inches of knee room in front of me. I only have the one pocket, but I do have dual climate vents. I've got a USB-A and a USB-C, and I also have cup holders. I do kind of wish that there was a pano roof just to have a little bit more light, but this is still pretty nice. Again, with the black interior, no pano roof, it does start to feel a little bit smaller just compared to the rest of the segment. This is one of the smaller rear seats in the segment, but still at 6'1", decent knee room. The issue starts to become headroom with my nub. And the last thing we'll talk about is you do have Bose audio here, but they're not shouty or showy about it like BMW or Mercedes or Audi with their Harman Kardons and Bang & Olufsen. It's just a nice, quiet little Bose emblem up there. So there it is. Those are the 28 most interesting features of this Nissan Altima SRVC Turbo. Now, if you're interested in the full and comprehensive overarching review, we'll have that posted tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe and stick around for that.